الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Thumma ma ba'd, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Brothers and sisters and friends, I just want to go through two main topics. Firstly, why is the Qur'an a living miracle? And secondly, why is it impossible that the Qur'an is from a human being? Why is this impossible? So we will go through these two topics. So firstly, why is the Qur'an a living miracle? Now there's many reasons why the Qur'an is a living miracle, and we will just go through some of the points. So firstly, the Qur'an was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, upon him be peace, over 1400 years ago in an area which was politically and economically isolated on the world map, which was Mecca. So you had the superpowers of the time. You had the Byzantines, the Romans, the Persians, and they could have invaded the Arabs so easily if they wanted to. But they said, what are we going to do with all this desert? Because it was just desert where the Arabs used to live. It's going to do us more harm than good. So they were left alone. The Arabs were left alone. They were isolated from the rest of the world. So this was an educationally backward area. So there was no universities, there were no colleges, there were no schools existing in Arabia at the time. So this is a very important point. So just keep this in mind as we go through the rest of the points. Now the Qur'an was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, upon him be peace, and he couldn't read and he couldn't write, okay? This is a known fact. And the Prophet, upon him be peace, he hardly ever travelled as well. Now the Qur'an was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, upon him be peace, in speech form, okay? So the Prophet, upon him be peace, he used to receive this revelation in speech form. He used to memorize this. He used to narrate this on to his companions. He used to memorize this also, and some used to write this down. Now the thing is, can you say something really powerful and to the point, with no preparation at all, even for 1 minute, and make no mistakes? That's absolutely impossible. You know, we make so many mistakes in our talks, in our lectures. You know, we need to prepare. We can't just say something off the top of our head, even for a minute, making no mistakes whatsoever. So even if you have a one-page article, you want to write an article, you have to edit it, you have to correct it, you have to rearrange it so many times. So even when you write something, it's impossible to write something perfect in one go. But the Prophet, upon him be peace, he just said it in one go. When he received the revelation over a period of 23 years, which is a period of his prophethood, the period of revelation, whenever he received some revelation, he just said it in one go as it was. So huge chapters in the Qur'an, never changed, never altered, okay? This is absolutely amazing. So what is actually recorded in the Qur'an is exactly what the Prophet, upon him be peace, said. He just said it in one go, and this is what's recorded, okay, with no correction. This is an absolute miracle and an amazing proof of authenticity. So also the Qur'an, it contains 114 surahs, chapters, okay, and some of these chapters, they took years to reveal in their totality. Now you also have ayahs or verses of each chapter which were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, upon him be peace, okay, sort of in parallel you could say. So you have verses for different chapters which are being revealed at similar times to the Prophet. So a complete chapter was not revealed. So the Prophet, upon him be peace, when an ayah was revealed, he would say, okay, ayah 1 goes into surah B, into chapter B. Verse 2 goes into chapter C. So this was miraculously revealed to the Prophet, upon him be peace, okay? He had no idea of the bigger picture. He had no idea of how many chapters there would be in total, how long each chapter would be. Okay? He had no idea of the bigger picture. And this is amazing, okay? Because even after 23 years, over the period of the Qur'an, when it was revealed, there's no contradictions at all in the Qur'an, okay? When you study the Qur'an, all the topics, they flow beautifully, okay? There's amazing flow in the subject matter, and this is in between each surah, in between each chapter, and from chapter to chapter, okay? This is absolutely amazing. You know, and there's beautiful flow even in the rhyme scheme, okay? The rhyme scheme within each chapter is beautifully flowing, okay? And this is absolutely amazing as well. So we understand this was miraculously revealed to the Prophet, upon him be peace, okay? Which verse will go into which chapter, and the order of the chapters in the Qur'an as well. Now the Qur'an was revealed in the Arabic language, okay? Arabic grammar is extremely sensitive to a, e, u sounds. So even nowadays, okay, you'll have educated Arabs in the talks, in the lectures, that make mistakes, okay? That make mistakes in these sounds because it's a difficult language, okay? But you had the Prophet Muhammad upon him be peace, when he recited the Qur'an, he made no mistakes whatsoever. He just said it in one go. And the thing is, he couldn't read, he couldn't write, so he couldn't even edit, okay? So it's absolutely amazing. Now the Qur'an is recited. It's recited by over 1 billion people, okay? It's memorized by millions, including children. So these are people from all backgrounds, all races, all nationalities, all different languages. And this is an absolute miracle because no other book on the face of the planet can be memorized as easily as the Qur'an. And for example, you could have an African person who's reciting the Qur'an, okay, in prayer. He's leading the prayer in India, for example, and you have people praying behind him from China, from Europe, from America. But if the person, the African person, if he makes a mistake in his recitation of the Qur'an, the people behind him can correct him if they memorize the Qur'an. So this is amazing. This is because it's a universal book. The Qur'an is universal. There is only one version of the Qur'an. And this is unlike any other religious book on the planet. So you only have one version of the Qur'an anywhere in the world. So if you think about it, if there were different versions at the time of the Prophet Muhammad upon him be peace, we would have so many different versions now. But the fact there's only one version now, it proves there was only one version at the time of the Prophet upon him be peace when the Qur'an was revealed. And also, if for example over a period of 1400 years, even if one word in the Qur'an changed every 100 years, we'd have so many different versions now, but we don't, okay? This is an absolute miracle in the preservation of the Qur'an. So the Qur'an is the only religious book, okay, over the last 1400 years, which is protected in its original form, in its original language, okay? This is a miracle. Now the Qur'an contains amazing historical facts which have come to light, okay? Amazing scientific truths. There's no contradictions at all in modern science. There's predictions which have come true. There's amazing numerical miracles in the Qur'an as well, okay? And we can go into these details another time, but these are absolutely mind-blowing. And also this is amazing, bearing in mind how we discussed that the Qur'an was revealed to the Prophet upon him be peace, where individual ayahs, individual verses for different chapters were revealed at similar times. The Prophet upon him be peace, he just said it in one go as the revelation was being revealed with no editing at all. So it just makes these points even more amazing. Now the Qur'an contains topics on matters like worship, law and ethics, okay, quite serious topics, some of them you could say, but when it is recited properly, the Qur'an, it moves you deeply. It's so soothing, it's so beautiful to hear, it's so beautiful to listen to, it even brings you to tears, okay? This is the amazing, unique power of the Qur'an. So is there any other book on legal matters that you can actually recite and enjoy reading? No, there's not. So this is an absolute miracle of the Qur'an, okay? Now the Qur'an gives a complete system of life, okay, to solve our problems, both individually and collectively. And the Qur'an is very relevant to today's times, okay, to solve today's problems. And this is an absolute miracle, okay? Also the Qur'an, it addresses every part of our existence. It addresses the mind, it addresses the heart, it addresses the intellect, it addresses spirituality, the soul, it addresses the rational and the emotional sides. It's amazing, it recognizes the makeup of a human being, that we have these needs that need to be satisfied, okay? So there's no other text like it, which gives a unique balance to satisfy our needs based on the makeup of the human being. Now the Qur'an is the most positive book in the world, okay? It inspires you, it motivates you, it gives you energy, it gives you hope. Why? Because it specifies your life purpose, it gives you your purpose in your life, okay? It's absolutely amazing. Now the Qur'an, it helps you understand your position in the world. It gives you true peace and true happiness. This is the only thing that can give you true peace and true happiness. Why is that? Because like we said, it gives you your purpose in your life, okay? And this is a miracle. And the Qur'an, it promises you infinite bounties, infinite riches. So the Qur'an really is the best of all books, okay? This really is a true miracle. Like we've seen so many amazing things, so many miracles that come together, okay, to make this a true miracle. So it's really impossible that all of these things we've talked about can just come together by chance, okay? And the thing is, we have only discussed a few points here, okay? We've only scratched the surface. We haven't even gone into the real miracle, which is a miracle of the Arabic language in the Qur'an. So I really urge you to think about these points, okay? So in the next part we will discuss, inshallah, why the Qur'an, it could not have been from a human being, why it's impossible that the Qur'an could have been from a human being. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.